drastically changed the dynamic of being BFX. We're hoping for the positive.
Und dauert so lange das Matchup von der letzten Series? Ja, es dauert immer eine halbe Stunde. Stage Prep und so weiter. Rahman, lass mir Fusi. Ja, ist halt WM-Saison, ne? Das ist schon am Arsch. Aber, to be fair, ich meine, sind wir ehrlich, Frankreich, Olysee, Chancen nicht allzu gering, ne? Oh, Quaraskelia ist auch, Koks, ne? Also nicht literally, aber...
Yeah. So we'll just have to see exactly why this has happened, and maybe BNK4X can demonstrate that with some good play here today. Caitlyn banned. It's weird.
Yeah, interesting. Pantheon still up and available, as is Orianna. So...
I know why the Caitlyn was banned, because Slayer was destroyed by Smash's Caitlyn over and over again in Challenger, and so maybe you didn't like that.
A little bit traumatic, maybe?
Yeah, it might have been something like that. But maybe also just trying to open up something interesting for first pick, as D plus Gear did choose second pick, and so that means Pantheon, Jarvan, any of these things can be snapped away.
I think the Orianna ban makes sense, because you can, of course, trade these junglers. We're seeing a lot more priority on the Jarvan. You can just go Ezreal Pantheon here, to be honest.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to pick up the Pantheon. We saw this last series. You don't need to pick up the Pantheon this rotation if you don't want to. You can save it for 3, but that does limit your flexibility a little bit, as you will want to secure a jungler before the next phase of bans. So if you lock in, like your bot lane right now, that third pick, you're kind of unable to adjust to what BNK4X pick up. But I think the Ezreal we've seen all the time into the Jarvan. And we know Smash is extremely good in the pick. We're going to start off with the Annie coming in for Showmaker.
They could do Annie Ezreal if they like to. Then you'd still be able to get Pantheon if you feel like it, but you wouldn't be able to lock in a full bottom lane and get your jungler.
Yeah. I mean, the only pairing we've seen...
Ich würde noch Heiko in den Ring werfen.
The Ezreal has been...
PSG gewinnt, CL und Frankreich, die werden dann mit dem Belay.
Go for the Lee Sin for Lucid. So not going for Pantheon, not going for Xin Zhao. Going for
Schade.
the Lee Sin, the combo up the Annie, that point and click CC, guaranteeing the Sonic Wave. Definitely not the highest in priority.
Sind wir für Stuttgart oder Hoffenheim? Für Stuttgart, hey.
Definite comfort though for these two.
Definitely comfort there.
Okay, Slayer's getting some priority here in this
Lucian Melio, love it.
There is the Lucian Melio.
Oh, love it.
Again, worked out pretty well for KRX earlier on today.
Yeah, and we have seen,
Hat halt mit WM keine Chance, denke ich. Was ist denn der Quarazkelia? Georgien. Ach du heilige Mutter Marias, okay.
Scales relatively well, I think. People look at Lucian as a pick that struggles sometimes. The short range will be a factor, but the Melio boosts you up quite a bit the mid game.
Lee Sin so Prior? Nope, eigentlich nicht, aber Lucid ist ein sehr, sehr guter Lee Sin.
Sometimes the Nami can struggle.
Vielleicht ein Special Case.
Nami specifically because you can get exploded. Yeah. Whereas you have like so much peel from the Melio, especially into an Annie specifically with a point and click stun.
Yeah, it feels fantastic to pick it up at that stage.
They go for the Jace here. It's a strong spot for Jace because you can ban Yorick Scion here essentially as D+. On the other side for BNK4X, I think you're banning 80 carries, just limiting things that can get outside of the Cataclysm. Ezreal makes a lot of sense. You could be worried about Nash Seraphine, but perhaps not, like you have a Cataclysm to deal with it.
Yeah.
You go for the Nautilus, which I don't think is that good of a pick.
Were you scared about the Nautilus?
Like, Milio's really good at disengaging Nautilus. Jarvan makes Nautilus's game a little bit uncomfortable. And then the Anivia ban comes in.
So she not as frightened by the clear Scion in this game. And the Anivia will be the one
Vielleicht gewinnt gegen Deutschland die WM oder Joshua Kimmich. Holt sich den Ballon d'Or.
Sorry, into the Jace top lane.
Yes, it has. It was played into Jace specifically, so would have that flexibility option.
Okay, so Lulu going to be taken away from Korea.
Yeah, Lulu Yunara, pretty scary lane to play into, so limiting that, especially the sustain damage off that when this D+ lineup is a bit more base focused. So now,
what's stopping you from just playing Ashe Seraphine? Does Lucian Melio lane well into it? Is that why they're happy to pick up line?
I think the concern is more the Jarvan.
Yeah, right, fair.
I think them being immobile, like at least with the...
Nicht Ezreal Nico spielen. Ich weiß, ihr wollt, aber wir spielen nicht Ezreal Nico.
Yeah, but we've seen the Corki priority drop off a good amount.
Zeri can get out of Cataclysms.
That she absolutely can.
Hat sie ganze Zeit an den Event gefahren? I mean, man muss ja auch respektieren, dass sie so ernst nehmen, right? Aber, ja.
And, you know, like Zeri Lulu's a thing, Yunara's Lulu's a thing, but the Lulu was banned, so you could still pick Yunara and pair with something else. So,
yeah.
Specifically going for the Zeri here which has definitely been a lower prio AD carry compared to the Yunara.
But Yuumi has been buffed.
It has been.
So Korea did have the debut Yuumi game here in the LCK. Most of us tried to forget. Let's see whether he can make up for it. I believe
Also Yumi Last Pick, ja, kann's werden.
a bit of success on the champion.
Kann's werden.
Sante for clear
Ist ja unrealistisch.
locked in as the answer to the Jace. Not exactly the most high-powered answer to Jace, but would be able to weather the storm. And let's see what Vikla has prepared into this Annie. Aurora would be the tier list choice. And let's see whether he does decide to go that way instead.
Rise.
It's going to be the Rise.
Kommt von BFX, sehr solid.
Situation. We often talk about Rise being a really powerful pick.
Sehr solid pick.
By the likes of Anivia, Cassiopeia, but when you know your mid matchup, feels pretty easy to pick it up here. It is going to be that Yuumi coming through. And to be honest, I think in this game, BNK FearX is feeling pretty good. You have
Der Draft ist sehr solid, ja. Super solid Draft.
Impact the map more than the Annie.
Schau mal, wie Botlane läuft.
Jarvan has good targets to jump on. You know, both the Annie and the Jace can't get out of it. The Cataclysm without a flash. At the bot lane, 2v2, you should have a good amount of pressure in this matchup. Sometimes you can see Yuumi do a decent job of weathering the storm, making use of those triple combat sums, but for the most part, Lucian should have the pressure advantage. Cassante into Jace, you just farm up and be a tank. We've even seen solo kills happen for the Cassante in that matchup, so...
And Clear has been gravitating towards Cassante more often than not as well here in the LCK. So I think should be
Okay. Irgendwie hat Sentinels auch geschafft, sich zu qualifizieren für EWC, ne? Das ist crazy. Die haben einfach... Bro, die haben einfach... Ich verstehe es nicht. NA ist so eine weirde Region, wie da gewonnen wird. Ich verstehe es nicht. Und mal wieder ein dickes Fuck you an hinein, wie immer. Die Köter.
So let's see what Vikla has in store for us as well into Showmaker's Annie, something that he's been gravitating towards a lot. Time for us to get into the Rift for game one.
UDC.
All right, D+ fans in full coordination here today at Chichitic Glow Park, but I heard some desperation in the BNK FearX fan chants. Did you pick that up as well?
Yeah, I'm not overly surprised at that.
Neither am I. There has been some change.
Desperate position right now in the league.
Ja, schon draußen. Lowbreak ist schon fertig, das Turnier. Der Qualifier in NA ist schon fertig. Da ist Sentinels qualifiziert. Der zweite Platz von NA geht an den Gewinner vom Spring Split. Der C9 sein wird. Haha.
Every loss is permanent for the regular season.
But so is every win.
That is true.
So if they do manage to pick up some victories here, it could be working out. But right now we can see T+ Gear just pushing in kind of every lane, and they should have early shove kind of everywhere. I think Annie's probably just fine into the Rise earlier on, although I think that is the match.
Was passiert, wenn Sentinel Spring gewinnt? Gute Frage. Weiß ich nicht.
Relatively well. This one could also be a little dicey. As level 2's gained, and we did see the all-in angle from our last Lucian player, Lazyfield, earlier today.
Yeah, Slayer playing that well, dashing to the side and not forward. That's the thing with Lucian. You're burst focused, you have a lot of power around your cooldowns, but you have to respect the sustained DPS of Zeri and the triple combat summoners. So you never want to just dash in and load everything and then have no way of disengaging. It's the quick little burst trades that are going to put you ahead in this matchup until you chunk smash down to potentially look for a kill. Level 6 is where the Zeri Yuumi in general gets a ton of power. So every advantage you get now needs to put you in a position where you're not just going to get bowled over by those level 6 power spikes that come through.
Yep.
Ich glaube noch mein privates Coaching. Bin ja auch boosted. Ich bin nur sehr gut im Backseaten.
To the Ashe Seraphine as well, or at least it was an attempted one until it worked here in the LCK. You could see that the all-in angle for Zeri makes some sense. We do have Wolf on the space as well, so if any certification is necessary, we do have that one available. But right now, they are just getting pressured out, and Slayer's aggression that we were talking about before,
lane
off in this matchup especially, as Lucid will spot Raptor here as the Q just barely misses. Good reaction there from Raptor to stop moving forward. And Lucid is now just going to bail towards the top scuttle instead, As now Slayer dashing forward one more time. There is some big shielding. And
Bin die Lane sehr, 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 sehr
get
gut.
him out of there safely. I say safely. There is a jungler now coming on over as Kellen just hunting. See where they are backing, and Raptor will get a flag to drop on top of them. Thankfully, Prowling Projectile is going to be there to deny any further engage, but they do stop them from...
Dann kommt der erste Nicht-Bayern-Spieler.
Stop the back and just buying more time. Pretty big, I will say, though.
Wer kommt da in Ding? Ist dann sowas wie Undaf? Kommt der dann schon
Well, we don't see Smash going for the dash.
in Consideration?
Yeah, Korea as well just stuck
Oh,
around.
there it is. He slid over a bit there. So cannon missed.
Weiß gar nicht.
That melee minion. So you just missed the cannon.
Boah, sieht gar nicht so geil aus wie dieser Yumi. Ist halt super, super Hard Pressure Lane, ne? Und es ist nicht, also sie können nicht so hart chillen wie gegen Ash Seraphine. Ash Seraphine,
Korea was able to not hit things through.
Ash Seraphine
That is so unfair.
What does it mean?
ist schon relativ unfair.
This game.
Yeah.
The rotund man himself.
Diomande. Boah, es ist der von RB.
Even though his presence isn't actually with us on the Rift right now.
Da schaue ich halt so wenig, ne?
Wow, Korea absolutely robbed, but that's fine.
Da schaue ich halt so wenig.
Just barely missing.
Gar nicht.
Now Smash.
Also, okay.
Tough spot there.
Yeah, not exactly with the wave in a phenomenal spot.
Ja, also auf jeden Fall gegen Lucian Milio kannst du, wenn die aggressiv spielen, nicht so chillen wie gegen den Ash Seraphine beispielsweise. Weil du immer in solche Trades halt reingezogen wirst.
Dash towards the wall.
Ja.
That means that he can't actually get over it, as there is the
Wow.
and the flash out from
Impressive.
Smash. This bottom lane is going so well for being K4X.
Yeah, so much damage done there. And I feel like the first...
Oh, er trifft da.
Oh,
Sehr gut.
no.
I feel like the first buys have just amplified this. You know, you have the scout slingshot into a coalfields. It just feels... this item feels so uninspiring.
Yeah. It's a bit of David and Goliath type stuff, isn't it? And David not doing so good in this particular matchup. As Lucid just wants to farm his own jungle. Showmaker is also looking for the rise, and we'll be able to find him there, as he does a lot of damage. Not sure who managed to get the Grump, because I was distracted by Metal Tibbers trying to do what he can.
Looks like a Malphite skin.
I know, it's very cool. I've always been a bit of a fan of the Mecha Annie. Also didn't mind that set of TFT with the Mecha Annie version. It was pretty cool.
Was that the one where you had 3 mech champions and they built like a Giga Mech together?
I don't think it was that one, but that one was also fun.
Yeah.
And now there's just a Mighty Mech, which is just a unit in the current set. I think it's kind of strange. Is very big though, which is kind of fun. Lucid just going to be taking a crab here on this top side. DK with a slight advantage as far as money is concerned, because their solo lanes are doing very well. We've been watching only this bottom lane, which is making me feel like DK don't have any tempo vibes, but they do. Because elsewhere,
Top Lane ist gut, ja, ja.
Showmaker doing just fine.
Wie gesagt, nur Botlane kannst du halt, also Botlane wirst du halt immer wieder in diese ekelhaften Trades reingezwungen. Oh, Kellen mit First Line Oblivion Orb, interessant.
At least Korea is able to do a little bit back there.
Yeah.
Interessant.
To get the Oblivion Orb early buy from Kellen, so able to help out with that Grievous Wounds onto the Zeri, obviously for the Yuumi healing.
Yep.
Does delay that first item spike we often see from the Milio when he's going towards... what's that item called? The
Essence Reaver?
Echoes of Helia.
Ah, the Echoes of Helia. I thought you were talking about Slayer's items. That's my bad. Oh no! Extendo Beam wouldn't extend far enough. And he went for it, but just a little bit too late.
Minus 1.
What a shame. And it would have actually extended far enough. That's why it's called Extendo Beam.
It does go pretty far.
Mm-hmm. All right, looking for a level 6. I don't know whether they quite get it off this wave. As they do stop Kellen's back, and now Smash might have an opportunity here. But still, Fire Kick comes on down. It's going to buy a little bit of space as they had to sidestep it. Slayer did hit level 6 himself, and is now making his way back towards the lane with a Sheen in pocket. So everything kind of quiet on Summoner's Rift right now. You saw Raptor trying to go for something.
All in here ist gut für... Oh mein Gott.
Find this control ward here. Lucid misses another Q. But,
Lucid!
now move towards this bottom side as Smash dashes through that wall.
Yeah, Smash really wants to get a recall off here, get another buy, and then with the level 6 coming through, you actually have the power to find it.
Oh, flash stun comes on in. This is that setup you were talking
Wow!
about. Oh my goodness, Lucid just kicks him in
Well
the
played.
It's that easy. Not much counterplay there. Vikla holding the flash, knowing if he flashes,
Well
he
played.
would die anyway.
Bringt Grasp auf Jace irgendwas im Late Game? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Lucid's like, wow, my Q did so much damage.
So Smash gets to
Also, es ist halt super genervt auf Range Gems Red.
Level 6 hit.
Eigentlich eine reine Laning-Rune.
Crip won't be too far away.
50-50.
That's the point where this 2v2 feels a bit better for them.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be a contest over this dragon.
Yeah, this is exactly what Zeri wants. Hits level 6 and then has an opportunity to go for a skirmish.
Schön von Raptor. Oh.
Can the Zeri get some kills?
Oh.
From career is fantastic, but the Zeri
Der stirbt noch, oder?
going down. The flash in from
Unless.
but the
Warte mal, Lucianmilio.
Kellen, who will save his AD carry.
Lucianmilio, guys.
A book to safety.
Wartet mal.
Lose the Zeri and Lucid goes down.
Smash just ends up completely in the mixer there in the middle. And Lucid not able to finish off the Lucian thanks to some great peel from Kellen. Ends up being a favorable fight for BNK FearX. The fact they got the dragon as well is icing on the cake.
Oh, it really is. Vikla still struggling a little bit here.
This was pretty straightforward. There's just limited counterplay. He goes to cast a spell on the wave, stun comes in. If you didn't flash immediately after the sonic wave, you're getting kicked and you die. And I think the right decision was to hold the flash. Now here, I think this isn't played super well by D+, because Smash kind of just dashes in and ends up in the middle of 3 and takes so much damage. And even though he gets a kill, losing that throughput of the Zeri makes a big difference.
Yeah, I do think that Vikla played it really well. But we're going to have a look at it from Slayer's perspective. Kill the Zeri. Damn. Really nicely done.
Yep.
Oh, Kellen is being so annoying, by the way. He's just fire kicking them every time they want to go home.
He's trying to be irritating and succeeding so far.
And doing that against a Yumi.
Obwohl er gewonnen hat? Ja, ja, natürlich. Immer Standard.
Yeah, Smash down Flash just a second ago, so presumably was.
Oh, warte, warum ist Smash 2 down? Wait a minute.
And got him down to that low hit.
Wait a minute.
Huge deal as well is that he wasn't able to get the kill onto Raptor in that last engage. As we have a look at the replay picture-in-picture, it's just another good 2v2. And Slayer is really stepping up this game. Oh, they get the final chapter out as well.
Yeah, having a ton of pressure. And, you know, I was feeling like the level 6 will be a big spike for Smash and Korea to get back in this game. Not really finding the windows for it yet.
Bonk.
Kept under the thumb of this Lucian Milio.
Yep. Certainly some more opportunities for some mid-game fights. It's obviously where Zeri really wants to thrive. Might require some of the assistance from their teammates to make that happen. We have the Showmaker Shiu on pretty good standing at the moment, just based on farm. Lucid also looking to sneak in here and make something happen. They know that Raptor is there as well, so this has
kein Flash auf Slayer, ne?
done. As there's the ward kick,
Komplett.
and the Q comes down. Slayer,
Schön,
nothing
clean.
he can do. Kellen not able to keep him alive that time.
Clean, clean, clean.
Now, that's the kill going over to the Zeri, and Smash feeling a whole lot better.
Yep, kill in the bag for Zeri. Really nice to pick up on Lucid. Laying in wait for that kick, finds a great angle there. And it puts D+ back firmly in the lead.
Yep.
Only Slayer who has a lead over Smash, and when you're playing Zeri Yumi, I think being
All-in-Angle? Fragezeichen.
is kind of
Q3 W raus, Ulti.
Not really
Nope.
feeling too worried about it. It is the mid to late game that you really want to perform. Is clear.
Ja, wollte er es machen, aber ja.
There towards the top side. Will not be in too much trouble though. Does have the Iceborne Gauntlet already completed. And Vikla, a bit of a shove here in this mid. Let's have a look at this one more time as Lucid just snuck into the brush and Slay didn't know.
Yeah, waited for Kellen to be a little bit away as well, so the Mega Fire Kick couldn't really disrupt anything.
Well, pretty excellently played there by D+. They will be able to at least help Smash find a little bit more money. Does have his static shiv done. It's been a while since I've seen that as a first pickable item.
Wow. You'll be able to look forward to next patch.
Yay! Are they going to be playing
Is
more
Paul-
center? As there's a flash away, but the Q is very comfortable there from
Kick,
Lucid.
nicht ab.
Vikla wants to get into the realm warp, and he will be successful.
Wolle noch Bot, ohne Smash Ulti.
One more time to the culling, eaten by the Yumi. Very nicely done. Still, they are going
Geht die Bot von DK jetzt all in? Die haben noch Double Combat Sound aus.
ulti left up and available. Raptor moves in. Oh, doesn't want to give
Ich
up.
glaube, Cleaver Plus ist so ein Ding gegen Jace, gegen Sand vielleicht. Eventuell, potenziell.
All right,
Gehen die all in?
running an ardent blaze here towards Smash.
Oh,
That's it.
wow.
A lot of Sonic Waves missed.
Yeah.
Aber er hatte auch Oracle Vision. Ja.
Disengage. And Raptor
Gut, hat auch
knows
Oracle
exactly where
Vision.
this Lee Sin is going, even if the Lee Sin doesn't.
I think having full information though in this situation on the other jungler does give a lot more freedom for the lanes to be a bit more aggressive. But the problem is in the top lane, it's Jason to Casante's.
Yeah, she was like, yes, I will be more aggressive. And Clear seems okay with that, although the hammer boot pretty well timed.
Yeah, we're seeing Aftershock as well from Clear. You know, often see that in the range matchups where you can't get the full value of Grasp. It does give you an insane amount of tankiness in those team fights.
Oh, Slayer does find a nice little double tap. As Lucid roaming on down. Will be seen on this
Wenn ich morgen selbst Sushi essen gehe,
still with a pretty good health.
mal wieder ein bisschen zu reich, oder? Wir haben dich auch mal nie wieder gesehen, Keule gegen Yannick.
As he got hit by a Sonic Wave, but Lucid doesn't find an angle.
Oh, they want to try and contest this. Obviously, this will be double dragon for BNK FureX. Could be a huge deal depending on what our soul is going to be. But it's not going to be Chemtech this game.
There's Yannick, Genex.
Man, he's really starting to put in some work with this Essence Reaver done. And there's the final chapter coming on through. Slayer might be in a little bit of trouble there as Lucid comes on forward looking for
Er spielt es mit Culling so gut, by the way. Also wie Slayer Position hier spielt, ist sehr sick. Wer Champ er hat gespielt. Hat er gespielt? Aus Jace? Nee, Pantheon. Pantheon hat er gespielt. Er hat Pantheon gespielt.
Oh, Tibbers.
Er hatte Pantheon gespielt gegen Riven.
There's a rich turret.
Okay, Lucid fishing again.
Yeah, sitting on some wards that are turned off.
So much time spent on the bot side of the map right now, just trying to keep his bot lane in a good position. Now Lucid might be in trouble himself.
Yeah, finishes his quest as he wanders over towards the Lee Sin.
Wie hoch der Unterschied zwischen Einzelkampf und der Academy-Liga? Sehr hoch.
Another fire kick is interrupting.
Sehr hoch.
Smelio, man, every single time.
2 Drakes. Sieht nicht schlecht aus bisher für BFX.
And Raptor is just going to walk up to this dragon.
Mal schauen, ob sie das Game dazu bringen, also ob sie irgendwie das Game zum Explodieren bringen können.
We'll have to see exactly what the soul is going to be after Raptor does take this one down.
Does he show make it?
Oh, Hextech, my goodness.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. Altogether, so puts a lot of pressure on a D+ now. Even though they have a goal lead, I just feel like the fact that the enemy team has 2 dragons and how this bot lane's been playing out.
Yeah, I feel like we've been watching this bot lane so much that it feels like DK's behind.
Yeah.
But they also did just lose a turret.
So
and
they are
first
now
turret blood, yeah, will completely mitigate that early game issue. Once again, a dash in from Slayer.
I think this is really where Lucian shines. I mean, initially it was like the Lucian Nami who did this. Oh,
okay. Raptor does have the assistance of Vikla here as well.
She was so tanky.
Towards his bottom lane, but Lucius making his way in.
Wow. Das war nicht intentional, aber sexy.
Sexy. As there is Shiu, he flashed, managed to get that shock blast to land and then immediately starts going.
Und das Game ist noch nicht explodiert, aber natürlich in einem deutlich besseren State jetzt wieder. Wow, Slayer macht Damage. Jesus.
Once again, but won't be going down. And even Shiu is able to make it.
Jesus.
Slick kick, honestly, coming through there. And you see that there's this mounting pressure mid lane from the Lucian. This is what Lucian kind of does best compared with, normally it's Nami, but with the Milio. Just keeps that pressure up mid and allows you to really control that area of the map. Problem is, if you end up losing the skirmishes anyway because of some nice moves from the rest of the team, the Lucian impact just feels a little bit negated. That kick angle,
man, that was very, very cute.
Found it perfectly. Guaranteed the 2 kills would go over to them.
Was that like a hammer flash as well from Shiu at the same time to get the displacement?
Like, yeah.
So it was like the double displacement maneuver. It was almost like.
Jetzt halt Serious hier Tabis. Ich glaube, der wird niemals Tabis gehen, aber du kannst definitiv mit Tabis gehen. Ich glaube, generell AD Carry mit Tabis, sehr OP. Kein Kick halt, ne? Ja, Drake ist down. Also Matt hat nicht. Und du bekommst Flash raus. Ist gut.
That flash being burnt on Slayer now puts a target on his head. And it's 1,100 gold. You see, even though we have those 2 dragons of BNK FureX, the threat of the soul, 2 dragons is kind of meaningless unless you actually get the soul. You know, individual dragons not amounting to a ton right now. Second item coming through for Smash, so his build coming along nicely.
And there's not a massive amount of range on BNK FureX, so I feel like Renown's Hurricane is a pretty powerful one.
It is an item we don't see that much anymore.
No, I feel like Static is another one. Feels like Senna builds it. That's where I see it. Not as much on the Zeri as it used to be.
Ja, die gehen mal alle meistens für den Teil. Stimmt schon. Oder Stormrazor.
As Lucid now finishes his second item as well. Pretty
Ich hätte nicht gelogen.
Lee Sin build as well. Obviously, it's not like an offensive. It is doing damage. It's doing damage. Like, I'm not offended by it.
There are builds you are offended by, though.
Yes, namely Jin. Doesn't matter what items he builds. It's just Jin. That's about it.
Ja, die sind so gut im Saft. Kann mir gut vorstellen, dass das Game einfach beim nächsten Fight jetzt over ist bei dem Drake-Fight. 1 Minute 40, Spike-technisch sind die gut dabei. Mal sehen. Kann gut sein, dass das Game explodiert. Wright hat auch Tier 2 Boots gekauft, das heißt, der hat noch wahrscheinlich keinen Seraphs.
Yeah. Especially Rumble.
Yes. In fact, exclusively Rumble. I don't think he cares about any other champion. Alright. Well, it has slowed down somewhat as we tick closer and closer to 20 minutes into this game. 1 minute on the Dragon, though, and I think that's where things are going to start heating up on the Rift.
And I think it kind of comes down to each team's win conditions. The fact there's a flashless Lucian on the side of being K4X.
Bis 11.
If I'm D+, I'm definitely targeting that every day. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, damage.
That does take a little bit of work here as the aftershock does wear off.
Haben definitiv Damage.
And I think that's going to leave him all out of options.
Yeah.
Und die haben Tibos wieder ab für den Play.
Tower, so he just gets knocked under it, even if he didn't die before tower hit connected. But it's just a good gank setup from Showmaker, moving into the side lane as if to pick up the wave, but just sees an opportunity, punishes Clear, and then we'll just continue applying pressure there against the Rise. Now we do see a Herald mid.
Ist okay.
Take out the tower.
Yeah, it's going to be turret going down, so another one over to BNK Fearx to help them mitigate.
Ja, die sind so gespiked für den Fight jetzt hier. 2 Items across the board fertig. Auf der anderen Seite noch kein Seraphs, kein Black Cleaver. Die sind so outspiked für diesen Drake.
Extra gold for the tower. You're not really going to get. Everyone's not going to get to spend it right before the dragon fight starts.
Unless they can go for more of this, right? Because Slayer and Kellen have been winning the all-ins.
Seraphs ist fertig, immerhin.
Does mean that DK do get pushed very far back. And they might be able to get better dragon control that way as Lucid goes in, gets
Beautiful.
through Clear. And
Beautiful.
just drops down on top of Raptor.
Beautiful.
The Melio tries to help him out, but it's the Zeri that
Clean.
finishes off Raptor. Lucid does go down.
Schön.
That's a phenomenal fire kick.
Das war schön vom Kellen gespielt.
He has been pressing that button so good as Clear kind of face plants there momentarily, and she was still looking for more, but of course.
Warum mit Clips auf Lee Sin? Synergiert sehr gut mit Schildern. Schön macht's, ja.
Yes, some great peel coming through to keep
Der geile Early Game Spike. Einfach.
Defense, even though the initial fight looks like a
So war, danke fürs ganze Jahr.
losing out with a jungler and a top laner going down.
Man, they still have so much vision though. Look at this on this bottom side.
Trotzdem nur 1K Goldie.
One more time though.
So we end up getting this kick angle, and the focus here is kill the enemy jungler. Dragon is free. Raptor ends up just ulting the Zeri to keep it trapped. But we have this kite away here, and that mega fire kick from Kellen buying time for Slayer to disengage. And then you kind of just trap between a rock and a hard place here for Shiwu.
And a bear as well. And Kellen just throws some fireball at him and takes him down. Slayer moving towards 3 items, still has that slight gold lead, but it's going to mean less and less as this game goes on, and it hasn't really extended.
Refight für den dritten Drake nochmal.
Thanks to Smash picking up that kill.
Shiwu hat noch TP.
In the last
Clear nicht.
Drake still hasn't
Auch Wickler nicht.
yet as Raptor does move on back down there. Looks like Smash should be able to deal with this wave though, and Lucid is in the vicinity. There's a Jason
No way geben die, oder?
in hand. As Showmaker, he runs into
Wow.
Clear. Doesn't actually run into Clear, as Clear is going to miss for now. This Drake down very low, but Lucid might be able to get in here. It's going to be a 50-50 as there is the steal. He just walks up and presses Smite. All right, who knew that it was that easy as Lucid went for an angle.
Smash lebt noch, Wickler. Hat noch keinen Actualizer, right? Oh, der Kick. Wow. Wow. Und Shiwu lebt auch noch. Okay. Voll bleibt. Mein Patch Mini Punkt 8. Punkt 9 ist diese, also der Live-Patch ist dieses Wochenende bei der LCK und bei der LCS zu schauen.
You know, I was wondering with the Lee Sin pick coming in, I was like, maybe, because it's fearless, you're saving, like the Xin Zhao and the Pantheon, both picks that Lucid's been excellent on. And when I saw it come through, I was like, maybe that's the angle. I think they just...
I think he's just really good.
Lucid is cracked on Lee Sin, and we're seeing it in front of us. He got so much value in that fight. Obviously derailing B&K Firex's Dragon stacking, giving them a sizable lead now as well for D+.
Yeah, 4,000 is no mean feat. Let's have a look at this one more time from Lucid's perspective. The old walk in and smite it at 62.
Yeah, it was so close there. Moves forward. And then this angle here. Such a high value kick.
Yep, he flashed to make sure that he kills the Lucian. Baron. And I think they said no. We can't do Baron.
Is there a hint to that?
Zeri back in der Meta. Weiß nicht, ob sie auf dem neuen Patch... Yahoo, Dankeschön für den Tier 1. Liebe, danke.
That's good.
Thank you.
Solid.
Ich weiß nicht, ob Zeri auf dem neuen Patch noch stärker ist. Ich weiß auch nicht, ob das eine wirklich sehr gute Antwort ist gegen Lucian, weil ich finde Lucian extrem stark. Aber ein bisschen fein in dem Game hier.
Really large in terms of size.
Isn't it annoying using Realm Warp to try and catch a Zeri?
Isn't it annoying trying to catch a Zeri?
Yeah, good point.
Honestly,
I feel like Realm Warp especially.
I haven't missed Zeri. And the fact that it's Zeri Yumi, so you can just position aggressively with your support and know that you're both getting out.
Yep.
This is why we often see the point-and-click CC into picks like Yunara to Zeri. You know, we often had Nautilus and Vi as that lockdown, that point-and-click. But here, the only point-and-click lockdown you have is Cassante ult, which you have to be right next to her for.
Yep.
Or Rise route, which you have to prep. So not the easiest time of getting this, holding the Zeri in place.
And sometimes if
Neuer Patch noch, ja. Wie gesagt, neuer Patch ist Samstag und ab Samstag, ab 2 Tagen. In 2 Tagen in der LEC. Und LCS-Abend.
Because then you can, like, if you do go over the wall, then you can set up the portal to go back through the wall again. Goodness me, it's a lot of back and forth. As Slayer does now have his 3-item spike smash, still looking for his Infinity Edge. And Showmaker very close to 3 items himself. We're looking to try and actualize relatively soon for Vickler as well.
Denkst du, Smash weiß, was Cassandra macht? Uff. Der ist schon relativ jung, ne? Da ist die Aufmerksamkeitsspanne nicht so hoch beim Durchlesen bei solchen Sachen. Ja, GZ, es lohnt sich immer. Ja, Yahoo, aber da hast du schon geschrieben, Yahoo. Das ist eine First Message, den Namen habe ich noch nie gelesen. Das ist eine First Message, oder nicht? Yahoo, sofort eine Nachricht schreiben. Keine First Message. Die 5. Die ersten 2 waren Golem und Golem. Ja, dann die 3. war ein Kommentar zum Recap-Format. Okay. Und die 4. war Set-Ulti. Was war das für ein Kontext? Das weiß ich nicht mehr. Oh, Lucid. Wait a minute. Oh. Nein, es ist ein One-Shot auf... Es ist nicht mal ein One-Shot auf Kellen. Und Smash ist auch noch tot. Nein, die Katze stirbt. Warte, was macht denn? Warte, fährt DK das Ding an die Wand? Oh, wir haben über Unstoppables geredet. Nee, ich weiß, oder Suppression Skills. Wir haben über Suppression Skills geredet, ne? Muss das gewesen sein. Muss das gewesen sein. Sie können ja nicht machen, oder? Oder? Also, ich glaube Suppression. Also Showmaker macht hier kranke Moves und jetzt ist Drake weg, oder nicht? Ich meine, jetzt ist Drake weg.
So there's that, but just dodging away from everything, drawing them away from the Baron and finding that angle here. Smash oversteps a little bit, gets focused down by that culling. Lucy gets exploded in the mixer there. And in the ensuing fight, just the flash route from Vickler. We talked about there being not that much point-and-click CC for the Zeri. That is one way to shut that
ja,
down.
Drake verloren durch den Solo-Play von Showmaker. Das ist schon sehr impressive.
That is going to be the Drake secured by D+ though in the aftermath. And so really well salvaged. You have to say, by Shio and Showmaker.
It feels rough that you won that fight, and then because you went for the Baron, weren't really in a position to finish it off, you end up going down in terms of objectives compared to prior to that great fight from B&K Firx.
Yeah, still an opportunity here as Showmaker throws the bear early. Is underneath this very low turret, but should still be taken down, and there it is.
Guck mal, der Bär ist doch komisch, oder
I
nicht?
think Tibbers is just 50 gold.
Wieso ist der Tibbers nicht Saui? Haben die das removed, die Mechanik?
For the collapse there, you saw Lucid
Sorry by God.
Final chapter comes in. There's the ulti from Smash as well as Slayer is just gonna kill.
Lucian Milo, ich kann's euch nicht oft genug sagen.
Now he bent the Sonic Wave, but Lucid's able to get
Fuck.
immediate revenge. But I think we hear you, Slayer.
Yeah, finally all in on Smash.
Krank.
Even through all this extra sustain
Krank.
available, able to cut down.
Ich frage mich, ob die Ding brauchen, ob sie
I mean, this top lane play
That was
is
one.
straightforward. At this point, the Rise does enough damage to just burst through with a little bit of help to hold them in place. But it's this fight in the mid lane. Even with that healing for the final chapter coming out, Smash is like, hey, maybe I can win the sustain fight. Not even close, but it's saved again by Lucid.
Kellen desperately tried to get in front of that Q. Could just barely not make it there. Third item done for Lucid as well. Death's Dance complete.
Actualizer done for Vikla.
Oh, that's a huge deal.
A lot of power, and the goal difference isn't that big. Dragons are even. 1.2k gold lead for D+. This game is still very close. You can see the goal graph has been a little bit all over the place in terms of D+ gold advantage.
And they have kind of had one throughout this entire game. Smash comes on over to take down some vision around the Baron.
Ob sie es haben, Leute, aber sie haben es schon auf Jace. Ja.
D+
Lucian ist der Hypercarry, ja. Lucian Milo ist
you don't really want to face check any of these
eine Macht.
champions.
So, die haben sehr viel Damage bei BFX, ne? Also die müssen echt aufpassen bei DK.
Yeah, shock
Looking
blast.
for an angle, hits another
Aber für was, also Position von BFX ist komisch, oder nicht?
Non-committal.
Smash hat auch kein Flash.
Options thrown out. Like you land a Q, Lucy gets to decide whether he wants to go in. Shock blasts as well can just soften up the members of BNK Fearex. The problem is Kellen exists to add that extra layer of sustain, and it's working out pretty well for them as we can see. Still 2.5 minutes on the Dragon, so being on the southern side of the map isn't necessarily helping out. DK retain control around the Baron.
It's been such a tense game.
Really has. And I really wasn't expecting it to be, right? This is BNK Fearex swapping out 2 players.
And especially with how integral, I mean, the thing is with mid is I had Vikla before, but how
Sehr viel Damage zu machen. Die machen eigentlich, also eigentlich macht sie jetzt schon Damage, aber ich glaube spätestens ab LDA.
coming in, but
Milio Schild ist einfach nur insanely OP.
has died maybe a bit more than he'd hoped to.
Yep.
They're still fishing so much, so
Schaut auf Top Lane die Waves, Silent Waves.
Yeah, this is a decent amount of damage. Fire Kick is going to get avoided there by Smash as well, who's still just trying to find the burst fire towards BNK Fearex. Can be difficult with the lower range, but
Oh, Slayer hat gegrieft.
and then Smash thinks that is his opportunity.
Oh, Slayer hat gegrieft.
Slayer is still at very
Oh, Lucid hat nicht gegrieft. Okay, Game is over.
wiped out.
GG.
This is the one that locks that
Oh,
one.
Slayer.
Somehow stays alive.
Oh, Slayer, du hattest doch so gutes Game.
But the fight is an absolute disaster, and DK roll over.
Schade, er hatte da so ein gutes Game.
Slayer
Und
running
dann
away
feedet er.
from this Annie. Kellen does not have anywhere to go easily. He
He's
does
like-
touch a Sonic Wave.
Lucid, can I offer you some warm hugs, Mr. Former teammate? And the answer's
Schade.
yes, but I'm gonna kill you anyway. And now, D+ Kia are just going
Nice,
to
bist du
break
fucked.
open the base. They will be able to take this inhibitor turret. Slayer is still there. These death timers, 15 seconds on Raptor. Can they just win the game? That is the big question, as there is the flash in from Sheer. And just smashes Slayer against the Nexus, and that is the ace completed.
GG.
With only 3 seconds left on this job, and these Nexus turrets not long for the world. And D+ Kia, it was a very intense game, but they will be able to take game 1.
Schade. Honestly, gut umkämpftes Game.
Yeah, I think the game was always
Deutlich besser, also die haben sich deutlich besser geschlagen, als ich dachte.
Lucid made some masterful moves this one to sort of bring them back into it. I think ultimately this was a competitive game still. Based on the standings, based on the team's scores so far, the expectation may have been that BNK
Aber die Tippe dabei, ja, ist wirklich dieses ein klein wenig zu viel gewollt.
Just scale up to a point where they feel strong.
Yep, they certainly had to play it right, though, in order to make that happen. I feel like BNK Fearex really did give it to them as best they could. And shoutouts to Slayer, man. That is a pretty...
Ja, Lucid MVP von der Map auf jeden Fall.
I think he did the best he could.
Lucid auf jeden Fall MVP.
Early on and in the mid lane, but just hard, really. Not seeing a huge amount of presence, I feel like, from Vikla in this game. Lucid having a pop-off performance, honestly, on this Lee Sin. And, you know, this is going to shake up to be an interesting series because there's a lot of strong junglers still available.
Yeah, I think Fearless is going to be a little bit fun moving into game number 2. And if you were worried, you know, about the Lucian Zeri situation, obviously it's not Lucian, but it's going to be fearlessly banned, so we're not going to get it again. And I think all of us have had enough of it.
I'm sorry.
I think even if you're a new watcher that wasn't in that matter, it would have been fine. We're going to go to a short break. When we get back to space, we'll break it down, then we'll have game number 2. We'll see you then.
Wie gesagt, Diablo zu Nongshim geht, ja, es ist noch nicht 100%, also es ist noch nicht von der LCK confirmed, aber es ist, also, na, das ist wieder so geleakt, dass es halt, und das stimmt dann, ja. Diablo zu Nongshim und Taeyun zu BFX. Wahrscheinlich ab nächster Woche dann. In Effekt. Weiß nicht, ob das reicht, um Nongshim zu einem Top-4-Team zu pushen. I doubt it, aber mal sehen. Mal sehen. Kurz auf Toilette.
애매하긴 하다 근데 딱히.
야
자리 밀려.
나 이러다 자르반 쪽 볼게. 야야야 빨리.
아 천천히. 아 천천히. 버킹.
야 좋은데.
천천히. 우리 미드.
야 천천히 봐줄게. 나이스 라인. 여기 형 왔어. 미드라인 왔어.
이거 애니.
야너 쏘다. 야 보자. 야 박자. 아 박자. 아 좋아. 야 맞아. 들어가도 돼. 아 이겨. 아 좋아. 해봐. 이겨. 무조건 이겨. 무조건 이겨. 야 금자 아래 루전. 아 저거 안 돼. 미드 가면. 미드 가자.
But now it's the fun bit. I wanted to get to this because we get to revisit some quotes from this time last year. So in 2025, like actually at this episode after round 1,
week 4,
we had a few of these quotes about our teams, and we're just going to see whether they retain any relevance. Even if a lot of the players have changed, of course, not on Gen G's side, but it's just kind of fun to have a look at them, especially when...
You know what, I feel like we should just take them at face value and act as if they're about our current season. I'll take this one.
Yeah, you can take the T1 one.
Almost all of the series that T1 have played have been incredibly close. Like, it doesn't matter who they're playing against, they will be playing for the maximum amount of time, and they will stress out their fans as much as is humanly possible before maybe winning or maybe losing.
I mean, that could be any year.
That
Literally
happened this
any
weekend.
Year. That actually just happened today.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is timeless, honestly.
Yeah, this one's beautiful.
This team has no quality traits, like, as a 5-man unit. KT is a 2-man unit with, like, 3 moons orbiting or something. And, like, Peter's a big moon, but he's still a moon.
What did he mean by that?
What did you mean by this?
And by the way, just for context, he meant that Peter is pretty good,
Yeah.
but he's not big enough to be part
And,
of
this
the
was
planet.
just BDD and Cuz Planet with Peter as a moon. Duckers and Perfect were not involved.
No, they were
This
like
team-
Pluto. We're debating whether or not they're really connected.
This team went to a world championship.
No
or
quality
fine.
traits,
World
by the way.
championship finals. By the way, Peter was still a big moon in the finals. He was still a moon. So it was kind of still true.
Yeah, no, it was. I think it was entirely still accurate. And
I
now,
unfortunately don't think it's accurate right now.
no.
Even with eyes shut, I see them. Vile creatures. Lurking. Watching.
You wanna play too?
Wir gehen schon draußen. Ja, kam gestern Abend in den Shop. Game as fuck.
They won't be laughing for
Scam as fuck, nicht mehr Battle Pass zu haben.
Hunt down every last shadow.
Der Skin ist aber cool. Der Skin ist cool. Dum, 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 dum.
Cleanse this place once and for all.
Dum, dum.
I will rid this world of demons.
Eine starke Skin ist Battle Pass, ja. Es ist eine extreme Freiheit. Also der Battle Pass ist Endlevel-Scam. Im Vergleich zu den damaligen. Das ist Endlevel. Wirklich Endlevel, Endlevel, Endlevel. Dafür hast du so scheiß Titel und Icons und so eine Scheiße, die keiner will. Na, ich werde mir den Pass auch holen, weil ich halt diese Rolls hier haben. Ne, sind's die hier. Ich will die Sparks haben. Weil irgendwann kommt ein cooler Skin. Nicht der hier, aber irgendwann kommt ein cooler Skin, den will ich haben. Aber ja. Es ist schon ein übles Scam. Kriegst immer noch 3 Skins? Ne, du kriegst also, ja. Du kriegst theoretisch. Aber es ist halt Gamba, right? Also das ist halt totaler Schwachsinn. Also das ist ja totaler Schwachsinn. So, was ist das? Guck mal, was ist das? Du kannst diesen Skin hier bekommen, by the way. Der Infernal Diana, der ist so kacke. Oder der Streets. Irgendwas, Briar. Das ist ganz großer Scheiß. Das ist komplett scheiße. Street Demons, genau.
Left and right, and also fancy feet by Showmaker dodging.
Wer will den Infernal Skins? Ich nicht. Ich nicht.
Flag and drags over and over again to stall out that game, eventually take control of it and win game number 1.
It was a really tough game to play the Lucian because you really have big shoes that you have to fill right here. After Diablo, has been like sent down, I guess you could say, punished, whatever the word is. And then you end up getting a lead, right? You end up generating a nice lead. Kellen has an amazing game on the Milio, but you're playing into Lucid's Lee Sin. You gotta pilot around the Annie. Your top lane is having problems. The Jace is super big. Like, you have so many threats. It's your debut in the LCK. You're in this really unique, specific situation that very few players found themselves in, where you're basically an emergency sub. You want to make sure you have a good debut. And I think that he juggled parts of the early game incredibly well, but it felt like he had too many issues taking that lead and turning it into a big win. Like, he kind of stumbled when it mattered most, but there were some really good punishes there for DPS.
Yeah, I mean, Diablo was the main carry for BFX, and the reason why we wanted to Vigla back in the roster is because he's good on playing around bot side. So he pushed the mid lane, always roams around the bot side, but it didn't happen that much. So the punishment for the bot side was not enough. So even though they had the Lucian Milio and they had to play against Zeri Yuumi, which is so much weaker in lane, didn't get punished that much. So I think outside of the lane, Zeri Yuumi literally outscaled them. And the Lucian Milio, it's really onto Lucian if you wanna like do something more in the mid late game. So I think that was too much pressure for the guy who just subs in for the first time in the LCK.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility. You were saying that there was the
Ja, schade eigentlich, wie gesagt. Ich glaube, Slayer echt kein schlechtes Game gehabt. Bis zum einen Misstep, der dann hart gepunished wurde, fairerweise. Aber ja.
Ended up being a nice start to getting to that point, and it starts here with a nice little dodge by Showmaker.
I'm not sure if he knew it. It was
Crazy.
Insane dodge, by the way.
It's
Crazy.
They're trying to deny him entry to this
Wirklich
fight,
insane
but
auf Seite.
also at the same time trying to win the fight on the other side. Slayer ends up taking a big chunk, but he gets healed up. Kites back really well here. But ultimately, now he has to make a really tough choice. Does he continue to chase it and try to follow up on that damage, or does he play safe? Lucid doesn't give him time to think. Just sends him back to the other side of the fight, flashes on him and kills him. And then Showmaker able to do so much damage here over the wall to clean up clear. And this was a really big turning point in this game where finally they stopped the momentum of Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing Rise and Jarvan, I think you're expected to win those early skirmishes, but I think after that, they lost their lead from the early game.
Yeah, and that's tough too, because it felt like he was aware, Lee Sin's in the pit, I know I've got to dodge it, but then Lucid connects with Kellen, and he says, thank you very much for the transit to the back line, and makes the play. And then here, this is the point you're talking about, did, like, this is on Slayer to try and decide whether we go in or not.
I mean, you gotta do this. I mean, you're playing Lucian. Whenever you're playing Lucian, you are playing on the line, but this is not the one that you wanted.
I mean, he's got Clear right in front of him. He's got Emilio with him. So there's a lot of support here, but this moment where he went in just cost him too much health, cost him his life, and the rest of the team just cannot operate without the Lucian's firepower. And as he's trying to survive, the rest of his team is falling apart like a house of cards, falling like dominoes. And again, it's those moments where you have to be so crisp on when you want to go in. And he was like, this is my moment. I'm going to be bold here. I'm going to be brave. I know my team's going to back me up, but it was the wrong call. And when you're a rookie player like he is in this situation, the toughest tournament you've played in so far was Kespa Cup 2 years ago, right? Where you actually played against LCK players, but he hasn't otherwise really faced this caliber of player. And I thought he had a great game. I think he did a lot better than people expected, but just kind of fumbling a little bit on the last hurdle.
Aber überlegt, das ist ein anderer, ne? Es gibt noch einen Slayer,
Played really slow and
der in Vietnam spielt.
Teamfight as well. They were just chilling and waiting
Der
for
in
the right
Vietnam
moment. I think it was
spielt.
Lucid, mainly just
Bam,
carrying
bam,
the game
bam,
with
bam,
the
bam,
Lucid pick.
bam,
I
bam, bam.
think,
Der war bei Gam.
that was
Gam
the
Slayer.
key for
Oder sowas.
DK when
Hallo,
they
Rembak.
were good.
Grüße.
Showmaker and Lucid working together around the mid jungle. I think them getting a huge lead from the early game, helping out the team to like kind of carry on for the late game. So I feel like Lucid being so much better.
So, was kocht
Just keep improving. That's
DK
the
jetzt?
impressive part for me.
Yeah, quietly a strong game as well on the Jace for Shiwu. I felt like he did a great job adding additional damage and just again pressure. It goes back to just that last highlight that we had. It feels more like strategically tough that you're putting the rookie in that position to be on the edge there when it's like, okay, maybe we can realm warp in, maybe we can get a better flank with the J4, but instead you have the Lucian kind of playing on the line, baiting in a way that we've seen Smash do so many times before in his short career, but it didn't quite work out in this one. I like the positive vibes though from BNK FearX, but D plus Kia, they're trying to prove to everyone they're on another level.
DK ist ein Top 4. Dieser Slayer. Oh, wirklich. Whoops. Es gab auch einen vietnamesischen Slayer. Ich bin mir ziemlich sicher.
For game number 2.
Bin mir ziemlich sicher, es gab einen vietnamesischen Slayer.
That breakdown of game number 1, and yeah, I have to agree. I think that Slayer gave it his all, did drop the ball a couple of times maybe, but otherwise everything was all right as far as I think our adjudication of him. I think he will be able to possibly have a better performance here in game number 2.
I think it's always difficult when you're subbing into a team who are on a bit of a downward spiral. It's not easy to always just bring things back, but I think given that, you know, D+ have been one of our stronger teams, I think he had a solid performance. Could always do better, that's true of every player.
Was ist?
Yeah,
but I think maybe
Die Kämpfe sind offen.
they have
Einer.
more scaling insurance, there's not as much pressure to really
Ja,
get
einer.
away with the game early. We could see them
they're getting married. Congratulations.
Passt. Hab nachgeschlagen. Oh,
Trying to not
Kacke.
give away their identities. But congratulations anyway. And I hope they have a wonderful wedding.
Yeah, that's some great news.
Indeed. And everyone getting a round of
Da
applause.
bringt das Mikro noch mehr aus.
For making sure that Lolpark gives them
Eins.
very warm congratulations.
Einer rechts.
And now
Wenn hier nicht
his hair a little bit crazier this
verlauten.
time than before game
Dum,
1. Maybe
dum,
it's a little
dum,
hair.
dum,
I hope
dum,
it means
dum.
that we're getting more Alawi or something a little bit
I
weird.
expected it to be pretty tame in this game too. Mostly just because of the fact that we have those junglers open and available who went taken away by Fearless, only Jarvan gone. So
So.
we'll see. We'll see
Dum,
what these players
dum.
get their hands on. I feel like the Pantheon, Xin Zhao, obviously the big priority in my mind.
Yeah, there's a bunch of junglers that are going to be looked at here, as the Varus and the Rumble will be our first bans. Pretty understandable, as Karma needs to be taken away as well. So, what is going to be the next on the chopping block? Orianna going to be taken away earlier. I mean, would mean that Caitlyn and Nocturne would be the next ban.
Caitlyn
I don't know if
Bard.
they strictly need to be as much, But yeah, these 4 fierce bans are like the most, they're just the most generic currently bans. The 4 highest prio bans picks we've had so far. Yep, in the LCK. So not really saying much about direction here. We'll see if we get, it is the Caitlyn again. BNK FearX. So not one
Okay, keine Caitlyn Bot. Ja.
about the lane pressure.
Kein Caitlyn Bot. Das ist reasonable. Das ist nicht sehr OP.
Exactly the same bans are possible for the Nocturne band here. But it might be the D+ have a different idea in mind. Just have to see. They are second pick. So leaving up a Xin Zhao or something like that could allow that one to be first picked as they do ban away the Nocturne. So exactly the same bans.
Yeah, little slight different order for D+, but it just means that BNK FearX going for that first pick of the Xin Zhao. Presumably D+ can answer with a Pantheon in this situation. And then what do you pick up alongside the Pantheon? I think our concern is, could BNK FearX just go Ashe Seraphine here? What would be the response to that? Ashe Seraphine, Xin Zhao, really powerful trio.
Oh yeah.
That we've seen many times.
Might be D+ considering locking that one in themselves, but I was wondering about this. We did see Canyon play it earlier. We know that Lucid.
Ja, genau ihn meine ich. Aber er hieß Slayer mal.
And it is a pretty good matchup into the Xin Zhao.
Er hieß früher Slayer.
Half of the Ashe Seraphine.
And one of the things is that sometimes we've seen like Caitlyn Seraphine. Caitlyn's obviously gone. If you do want to deny the Seraphine, what are you specifically?
Ich schwöre, der hieß mal Slayer.
Seraphine.
I think you need Lulu for Kog'Maw.
Hä?
Yeah, I think
it's
Wirklich nicht.
Well, Ezreal is going to be the first.
Ezreal Nico.
Ezreal, oh god, Ezreal Seraphine? Okay.
That's a little bit different.
I don't know how much I like it.
Huh.
But let's have a look and see how it works.
So pretty poke heavy lane. I feel like you could go something like a Nautilus here if you really wanted to just target the Seraphine. That's an option.
Or you could just go.
Wow, wurde Kani heute geknallt in Solo-Queue. Oh mein Gott.
Cool.
Der arme Bursch.
Doesn't give you as much lane pressure.
Oh, der arme Bursch.
A lot of sustained DP.
Oh, wurde der geknallt.
Ashe Lulu combo.
Also make Nocturne
Boah.
extremely tanky.
You mean Trundle?
Sorry, yeah, not Nocturne.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Trundle can be very, very scary.
I mean, good value on the polymorph, but yeah, this Ezreal Seraphine has a lot more poke in the 2v2, so Slayer and Kellen should be pretty happy with playing.
Zeig mal.
Looking towards the mid lane band.
Boah, der wurde geknallt. Junge, warum adjusted das so komisch? Boah. Der wurde geknallt.
And Showmaker. Still a bit up and available, but with the Ryze, Annie, Azir, and the Orianna being banned away, does mean that we are at sort of the second tier of mid laners. I think Aurora certainly going to have the stocks rise.
Yeah, I think Aurora.
Das war Kanis-Account, ja, der wurde geknallt heute.
In this position. See Vayne being banned away, concerned about Shiwu going on a side laner, that could be problematic. There's
also pairs well with Trundle.
Yeah, there's also his Ambessa, which is obviously very strong, so if we get a look in towards that, wouldn't be too surprising.
Okay, one more ban. If D+, it will be the Bird.
I think the Nevi is a good ban here into, you know, a lot of the mobile picks so far. No dashes on anything that D+ has. The wall can be a bit...
So, hier bei mir. Ich bin noch mit 3-2 raus. Ich sag, wie das beim Rest von deinem Team so? Ich glaube, Freddy hatte gestern eine Win-Streak. Der ist, glaube ich, auf 120, haben wir nachgeschaut. Ich weiß nicht, ob Brückelmann gespielt hat, das schaue ich. Und ich glaube, Tolly hat gestern auch, Brücke hat 30 LP. Der spielt gerade, der 1-2. Und Tolly hatte gestern auch gespielt. Freddy war 12-8, ja, der hat, glaube ich, 120 LP. Und Tolly hat auch 120.
I've seen a few different responses into the blind Gnar. The Silas has been one of them, but other options there as well. Let's have a look at exactly what BNK FearX are going to be finalizing for this draft.
Slayer.
Okay. We have seen some people.
Ja, ich wusste es. Farmer Support für Viking, no, Slayer. Ich wusste es. Ich wusste, er hieß so. Ja, und dann Slayer hier. Das ist jetzt Night Slayer, genau. Okay. Bei der waren nach der 11 Stunden bei Tolle weniger. 11 Stunden Solo-Queue, krank.
Hasn't been winning very much. If you guys were watching yesterday, we did have our stats, and the Ambessa has been struggling in top lane, especially in the jungle, but definitely in top lane as well. And the last pickup here, what is Vikla going to be doing? We imagine the Aurora is probably coming in, but instead, a pivot over to the Akali, and that will be the lock-in.
So, Dankeschön.
Okay, bringing in some dive threat here. Don't know the mid matchup as of yet. Showmaker looking towards potentially the Ahri, something with a bit of safety, but I think Aurora is kind of being this thing we've talked about.
Mid Renekton? Mid Renekton would be so fun. He has played that in the past. I lost my head to him playing mid Renekton, actually. That was not positive for me. Okay,
So.
the Ahri will be the lock-in.
Gab es noch jemanden aus Vietnam, der in der LCK gespielt hat? Ja. Nein. Weil es hat nicht offiziell gezählt. Doch, Lazyfield. Lazyfield ist Vietnamese. Natürlich. Ich wollte gerade sagen, aber der spielt ja gerade. Es war Lazyfield, weil der hat nämlich LCK Cup gespielt. Letztes Jahr? Fragezeichen. Und da hat es nicht offiziell in den LCK-Statistik reingespielt, aber jetzt spielt er ja. Ja, also Lazyfield. Er spielt aktiv gerade. Hat er Serious gespielt.
I'm a little bit concerned about the bot lane 2v2 or the Ashe Seraphine for smashing Korea.
Yeah, I think this Ashe Lulu vibe, I think we've seen it played before here in the LCK. I can't even remember how it went, but it's not exactly an inspiring lane. We've seen a bit of trying to deny the Ashe Seraphine before, but we'll just have to see.
Ja, in Korea wird nicht importiert.
Either sides of the rift as opposed to wielded together. Vikla's Akali, though, is a really fun one because he did do so well on it in the past when I was touting the year of Vikla. And we'll see whether he can do well again today.
So.
Hopefully he can, you know, manage to get that solo kill against Chovy back in LCK Cup, see if he can repeat that level of performance.
Yeah, let's get into it for game 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. BNK FearX to take on D+ Kia. Already a little bit of a group maneuver. But I think Kellen is almost giving it away by humming so much. And Vikla already taking infinitely more damage than Showmaker this game.
Showmaker also going for the Ignite in this match.
So what did I miss? So basically you missed out on some early action, relatively back and forth game between BFX and DK.
Between Lucid Showmaker, Raptor Vikla, adding that
BFX was ahead with Evolution Medio bot lane. Snowballed properly into the mid game. And then on free items, sadly, player just overstepped a little bit and got punished by DK and they lost. Wann kommst du englischer Kurs im Hölle? Nein. Hölle, ne? Warum Englisch? Na, weil sie auf Englisch geschrieben hat, da muss ich auf Englisch antworten. Weiß ja jetzt nicht, also weißt du?
D+ actually looking a little worse for wear. Trade of both heals and no barriers used just yet.
L2 going to be hit.
Yep, there it is. Slayer goes in, hits basically everything as the barrier is going to be used by both of these 80 carries. If that Mystic Shot landed, Smash might have just been going home right there. But the hyper-aggression continues here.
Also, Brother Svenska Oxeller, also ich weiß, was du mir sagen willst. Und ich habe auch viele schwedische Freunde tatsächlich. Aber hell nah, bro.
Causing some issue right now. It's that long-range poke. There's just not much you can do against, and Korea can mitigate it a bit with the shield, but it's not like you're a Nami who has to sustain to actually survive that.
Yeah. And so now you've got D+ missing cannons underneath this turret, and in fact, the health bars of these minions are very, very annoying, and at least Korea is able to execute that last one.
The Q from Seraphine doing more damage when you're on low HP. It's hitting Smash there for so much. Now, we do get the Hawk Shot coming through. Just going to scout out the bot side jungle. Doesn't spot Raptor specifically, just where his camps have been.
Yep. So I think they have an idea that he is towards the bottom side of the map. As Lucid just going to hit the blue buff with his baseball bat, completes his clear as well, and gets immediately onto this Rift Scuttler. Raptor moving up, but obviously Trundle very, very good at eating.
Kurz mal auf Rumänisch. Kein Wort, Bruder.
In this bottom lane. just trying to get some information. As Lucid rotates up, should be a double scuttle over for the Trundle.
Yeah, I mean, kind of expected in this matchup that you're just going to struggle to contest the Trundle, the Trundle outright unless you have the support from your lanes. And Showmaker has had a lot of pressure in this mid lane already. And I feel like whenever you're playing in Akali, we always talk about like weathering the storm in a matchup similar to Yone, where like you soak up the poke and just try and pick up as much farm as possible while sustaining with your runes and Doran shield. But when the opponent has Ignite, I feel like it just makes it so much.
Zweite Fremdsprache, Französisch.
Threshold you're safe on.
Wenn du dir eine Sprache aussuchen könntest, die du sofort perfekt beherrschst, welche wäre das? Boah, safe Chinesisch oder nicht?
Vikla able to get the cannon there with the shuriken backflip. You're exactly right. Showmaker is right now playing pretty aggressively, just trying to do his best to zone, and is ahead by about 6 CS as the dust settles. This time around, I feel like it's going somewhat similarly to game number 1, but the bottom lane is working out.
Nein, Japanisch Easy Call, nein, es ist 100% Chinesisch, by the way. Es ist 100% Chinesisch. Wisst ihr, was für ein krankes Upgrade das für LPL-Co-Streams wäre, wenn ich halt selber übersetzen könnte? Wie krank das wäre, und es ist halt Weltsprache auch. Richtig overpowerte Weltsprache auch noch.
Korea takes a billion health. It's a little bit unfortunate. Maybe that's a Costa curse.
Yeah, Smash put some damage down as well as they disengage. But
oh, the flash in, and it's not enough damage.
Schade, that's right.
Carry a turret shot a billion miles, but that is going to be Showmaker just saying not even close.
Yeah, not even. The electrocute proc coming through, just so close to taking Showmaker out there. I mean, if Vikla had Ignite, that would have been it, but...
Yeah, and Showmaker now has a flash advantage.
That he does. Level 6 is going to come in soon, and I think this matchup specifically makes it so much more exciting with how much mobility and outplay potential there is.
Ooh, there's a heal, as Lucid is going to discover Raptor. Raptor not too happy about that one, as the pillar goes down. Lucid just showing Raptor his trophy.
Muss aber traditionelles lernen. Nein, ich muss ja nichts lernen. Ich habe das ja... wie lange bis die neuen Boots genervt werden? Die neuen Boots sind, glaube ich, nicht okay. Glaube ich. Ich muss es ja nicht lernen. Ich weiß ja, ich kenne es ja automatisch.
That will allow them to play a little bit more aggressively there on the bottom side if they would like to. The back is completed by Lucid, but Raptor's still sticking around. That does mean that this Ezreal Seraphine is going to be in a pretty good position. Another charm is going to connect. Nicely done, but Vikla's still able to push Showmaker away now at level 6.
Yeah, the Shadow allowing him to dodge a lot of that damage and would have followed up. But still a very close game at this point. I think Clear doing pretty well on top of that in this top lane matchup. Kept the CS and gold pretty close for a melee versus ranged.
Yeah, probably one of the...
Kann mir ob sich schon auf Deutsch kaum geben, auch eigentlich nicht, weil... Bruder, du bist doch schon seit 4 Stunden da, was willst du von mir? Und du benutzt, by the way, Stream-interne Jokes on Broadcast, also laber mich nicht voll, bitte. Bitte. Du wurdest gestern exposed. Ich weiß nicht mehr, was du gesagt hast, weil ich verdrängt habe, aber du hast einen Stream-internen Joke gemacht. Ich weiß gar nicht, wer es war. Ach, Mehl. Du hast gestern Mehl gesagt, genau. Genau, du hast gestern Mehl gesagt. Wie dumm.
Red buff will be taken by Raptor, and Raptor gets on in there. Lucid immediately flashes to get away, and Shiu is on 200 health here in this top lane as well, as Clear just ulted him.
They're going to try and see if they can turn this into a dive. It's such a low health Gnar here.
He hops away, and Vikla is possibly just outplayed. That is a solo kill from Shiu. Really nicely done. Utilizing the flash. The question is, can he do it again? And I don't think he's going to be able to survive this one without that flash available, and there he goes. Showmaker now moving towards his bottom side as Slayer gets the barrier out. Showmaker gets the flash on forward, though, and gets a reset and gets himself out.
Yeah, waits out the barrier, gets the damage in just to get that reset and disengage. So it ends up very favorable for D+ there, the fact they got that kill top lane and one bot.
And they're also going to pick up the dragon here as well, as Lucid, with some free time, will easily pick this one up. So that is a gigantic swing all over the place here for D+, moving to 700 gold in the lead, and we're going to have a look at this outplay once again.
I understand wanting to go in to stop the recall, but I think you needed that Xin Zhao there with higher HP and flash. You know, Raptor's focused on the Krugs. and it just results in Vikla going in too early and dying.
Was ich bin eigentlich? Sie hat gesagt, ab morgen. Ich hab mir heute geschrieben. Sie ist ab morgen wieder dabei, meinte sie.
Away, you know, instead of trying to get the kill there and then, was allowed the outplay there for the Gnar.
Oh, good flash in there from Showmaker to make sure that Spirit Rush is enough to grab the kill on Slayer.
Really far.
Morgen LPL-Tag, ja. Morgen ist Action. Wait. Hallo, Maddox. Hi. Morgen ist echt LPL-Tag. Stimmt. Warte mal, morgen ist wirklich LPL-Tag.
On the opener.
Scheiße, die bringt mich um.
And it doesn't get easier.
Die bringt mich um, oh mein Gott. Nee, warte, morgen ist Freitag. Morgen ist nicht LPL-Tag. Samstag ist LPL-Tag. Morgen ist Hanwha gegen T1. Stimmt. Morgen ist Hanwha gegen T1. Oh mein Gott. Okay, wir sind fein. Wir leben.
My goodness, Lucid is going to be very strong.
And that's the thing as well with jungle. With like other lanes, you know, even if you're really fed, it's not like you can increase the amount of minions that come
Wie
down
geht's dir, Maddox? Alles gut?
But as a jungler, you just get access to their side of the jungle too, and you make your clear faster.
Maddox wurde im Aram auf ihren Jinhopper angesprochen. Haben wir Quellen gesagt.
Raptor is looking towards the grubs here, but
Ich wäre im Boden versunken. Einer nur.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of topside control. Shiu can rotate down, and Raptor is now put next to the pillar. The Crescent Guard coming on forward is clear, looks for the ulti and doesn't find
Das ist natürlich ein fatales Ding von Clearner. Jetzt haben wir der Mega Proc. Oh, und der Flash gegen die Wand auch noch. Oh mein Gott, es ist ein Game Over. Oh, damit. Kopfweh. Okay, Freunde, Quote, ob Maddox mehr als 0,2 Liter Wasser getrunken hat heute. Ich sag 1,01 Quote auf unter 0,2 Liter. Aber ich weiß, es ist nicht immer dasselbe.
Yeah, I felt like they had sort of all their ducks in a row to make that fight work.
Ja. Ich habe Wasser getrunken. Kein Kommentar. Wir haben 14 Uhr, by the way.
As we have a look at it again, Raptor good defensive play.
Yeah, Shiu misses that initial boomerang. And then he's just getting damage down on the
Und wie viel Wasser hast du schon getrunken? Also. Okay, auf dem Weg zum Sport heute Morgen um 8:30. Nee, um 8:45. Nee, um 8 bin ich hingelaufen sogar. Um 8 oder 8:45. 700 Milliliter Wasser mit halt als Shake. Dann habe ich, das war weg, bis ich beim Sport war. Dann habe ich einmal voll gemacht meinen Shaker, das waren 700 Milliliter. Und dann noch so einen halben Shaker, also 1 Liter, dann sind wir schon bei 1,7 Liter. Und dann habe ich jetzt, die hier ist halb leer und die andere war halb voll. Es kann keinen Sinn ergeben, wie ich das formuliert habe, aber wahrscheinlich schon 3 Liter Wasser. Laden mir nicht voll. Und später habe ich bisher erst, ja. Ich habe sehr viel Wasser getrunken. Ihr unterschätzt, ist doch dasselbe. Ja, aber eins ist positiv und eins ist negativ.
Yeah, Smash is thinking about a bit of an angle towards Slayer here, but they knew that the Xin Zhao was in the area.
Nee, checke, ja genau. Ja, also ihr unterschätzt es einfach, wie viele, weil ich trinke halt auch sehr viel Spezies. Es schmeckt halt auch sehr gut. Aber ich trinke halt auch sehr viel Wasser. Bei dir immer halb leer, dachte ich ja, es ist auch immer halb leer. Ja. Ihr seid einfach wirklich nur pessimistische Menschen, die mir nichts glauben. Aber ich bin, believe it or not, jemand, der auch sehr viel Wasser trinkt. Und warum richtig? Weil es richtig runtergeht mit Syrup. Auch das macht mich noch reicher. Ich bin pre-rich gerade. Eigentlich bin ich pre-broke gerade. Hashtag Ad, ja, Hashtag Ad.
Titanic Hydra finished already that we saw.
Ich bin einfach ein Wichser, ja, das bist du. Spezi mal halb leer, Wasser mal halb voll, gehst dann mit, ja, Rede. Hab heute morgen Prep bestellt. Das heute Prep bestellt, du sollst morgen Prep bestellen, du Trottel. Aber kannst auch beim Giveaway teilnehmen. Das ist okay. Wenn du heute bestellt hast am letzten Tag, dann ist okay. Dann ist okay. Wieder Hersos Geschirr. Halt für eine Spezies ist ja quasi Wasser. Nein. So funktioniert das nicht. Bei mir lassen sie es auch nicht durchgehen, by the way. Dann bei dir alles recht nicht. Kannst du mal deine Riot-Kontakte fragen, ob die Guna-Ari rerunnen können? Meine Riot-Kontakte haben mir zuletzt gesagt, ich soll mich ficken. Und Riot-Partnerprogramm ist so, okay, Steffi hat nicht geschrieben, ich soll mich ficken. Die Message, die sie überbracht hat, war quasi ein, ich kann mich ficken, aber sie hat es nicht so gesagt. Nein, Raptor, du verlierst es von One. Oh, 7, Bro. Yu-Gi-Oh! Karten vorbestellt.
Really a scary pick with the upgraded Sork shoes and the gunblade. But the fact that Showmaker can just move in, land that charm, and the impact is done. Turning what could have been.
Oh, that's right.
Kind of beautiful.
That's right.
Trader flashes there. This mid lane match has been so exciting.
It really has. Stuff.
Wer Geld hat, muss haben, Bruder. Ich habe wahrscheinlich über 100 Subs. Wie viele Gegifte habe ich? Was sehe? Ich habe. Welche Badge habe ich? Ich habe die 150 geschenkte Abos-Badge, by the way. Was wollt ihr von mir? Das Serialized Full Art Pie, das war so viel wert. Ja, wir lieben Geld tatsächlich. Ich auch und jetzt? Ja, du bist ja auch stinkreich.
Alright. Clear and she continuing to do battle. But Clear is winning out considerably. That's what it's feeling like. Mainly because she got a lot of added attention from the other members of BNK. But still, a good sign the Ambassador is doing okay. As the Hex Optics get completed here by Smash. And Korea just trying to be a little Lulu that's clearing out waves, or at least holding onto them to allow Smash to do so.
Yeah, the Eclipse Spike is just kind of insane for the Ambassador, something we've talked about a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Also, is the Electrocute on the Ambassador. So a lot of burst damage in some of these short trades. I think right now, the solo laners are...
Der Orange, man soll die Füßchen stillhalten, ne?
There's just, I mean, even the...
Unberechenbarer.
As well with the Titanic,
Freak.
there's so much burst available.
Yeah.
You can kind of just get exploded before you know what's
Ja, wenn du bei Prepper still hast, dann kannst du schon in den Giveaway-Channel reinpacken. Wenn du möchtest. Aber ich mach morgen oder übermorgen. Wahrscheinlich übermorgen. Das sieht hier. Was liegt da auf dem Sofa eigentlich? Das ist mein Fnatic Jersey. Ja. Teil vom Grund, also Teilgrund, wieso wir momentan eine Krise im Klamotten-Department haben. Das liegt da schon ein paar Tage. Dicker, fuck mich doch nicht ab. Die haben letzte Woche nicht gespielt. Nee, die haben gespielt. Oh. Ja, egal. Ich spiele nur einmal die Woche, oder? Einmal kann man es noch anziehen. Oh, die spielen zweimal. Also gutes Wetter. Okay, ich knall sie in die Waschmaschine rein und häng's auf. Das ist bis morgen easy. Easy trocken. Easy.
Okay, I need to finish my point. You need your mid laner to come. Oh, that's why you had the advantage, because the enemy mid doesn't have ult. There he is. There he is. He's gonna make his way up.
Oh, schade.
Incredible. Still, Smash is going to struggle.
Smashy.
True shot barrage, not enough. As Win becomes lightning, but Smash is able to get himself out of the way. Lucid in a whole bunch of trouble. That he just walks on out of there.
Well, things definitely went better when they brought their mid laner in.
They did.
Waifu-Kisten wahrscheinlich, oder?
They got from being in Showmaker's ult.
So easy wie die Fenster geputzt werden. Okay, aber ich habe ja diesen Raum hier ausgemessen. Ihr müsst mir auch mal ein paar Dinge geben, die ich getan habe. So. Okay, wenn ich bis morgen nicht diese... Warte, habe ich eine Uhrhülle hier noch? Ja, habe ich. Wenn bis morgen nicht die Urhülle getauscht ist, dann gibt es 5 Gegiftete. Das ist halt Respekt. Ich glaube, die ist legit seit einem... Boah, ein halbes Jahr reicht nicht mal. Die ist schon seit fast einem Jahr jetzt am Arsch. To be fair, also wenn das bis morgen nicht gefixt ist, dann gibt es 5 Gegiftete. Mehr sage ich, nein, ich bin noch nicht reich. Player statt Diable, ja. Bis jetzt, Game 1 hat er echt nicht schlecht gespielt auf Lucian. Er hatte dann einen Misstep oder einen Overstep und wurde direkt gepunished und Game auch verloren. Aber er hat echt keinen schlechten Lucian gespielt. Achso, mehr als ein Jahr? Boah, das kann schon sein, ja. Also, honestly, kann schon sein. Er hat echt ein gutes Lucian-Game gespielt, bis zu dem einen fetten Misstep. Und dann war das Game halt instant lost. Und ja, ich vermute, wir kriegen Diable ab nächster Woche bei Nongshim. Ich weiß nicht, wie schnell solche Transfers da gehen, aber ja.
but I think they just ended up so low that they had to disengage and back off. And then Vic was kind of going alone here. Not a play.
Into a Lulu, it feels
I'm a big fan of. Yeah,
very suboptimal.
Lulu into one diver is, there's no decision making. You're polymorph. It's that simple.
Just keyboard your buttons onto that champion. That would be the move. As Showmaker actually using the Spirit Rush to get the true damage from the Q.
Yeah, get
very
the
nicely
return.
done.
And then having Malignance as well just means your ult does so much damage.
Was macht die Innerstatterin? Die Innerstatterin ist nächsten Monat im Urlaub. Und wahrscheinlich passiert es danach. Das hat alle Zeit der Welt. Das ist legit, das hat alle Zeit der Welt. Ist nicht so deep. Keine Ahnung. Sie wird da schon gute Ideen haben.
Setting up this dragon, no summoners on the bot lane of D+, so I think they are definitely targets. They have flash on Clear, flash on Vikla. We saw what Chovy did in the last series, flashing in with the Akali.
Yeah.
I think he just kind of looked to do that to D+'s bot lane if they push into the river.
And Vikla does like to be that guy, especially more recently. So I'd like to see what he can actually.
Das ist ja dein Sofa, Bruder.
Hasn't happened just yet, though.
I guess, wenn man nicht drauf achtet, dann fällt es einem nicht auf, ne? Und die Sofa-Jokes sind ja auch vorbei. Das heißt, man achtet halt wirklich nicht drauf. Aber ja, seit 3 Wochen. Dienstag vor 3 Wochen kam's. Also kam's hier rein.
Smash might have actually flashed into his death there if he had it available. And I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah.
Überall Normal-Werbung.
The damage was done, literally. You got him low enough that
Ah,
they
good.
can't really contest the dragon. So should just be a free pickup here.
Yeah, Cullen gets a ward in. Teleport towards the bottom lane.
Well, they're TPing anyway.
Yeah, but also this dragon's gone.
And they can just walk away. You're into a Trundle. Trundle can just pop pillars up and disengage.
Yeah, so that is a second regrettable teleport.
Yeah,
Come on.
Die Süßstoffmafia. Grrrr.
In this game.
Grrrr. Die scheiß Moorsekte. Grrrr.
And Clear will get some pressure down on this bot lane tower.
Grrr.
Something to take away from it, but doesn't really feel that good.
Yeah, he might have just assumed that he wasn't going to be able to...
That's a TP to defend the tower.
Yeah.
That will actually change the flow of game.
And this could also...
Nein. Oh, das war schön. Das war sehr schön von Showmaker.
There as well to lock him in place. Nothing this Ezreal could do. And Slayer is just going to be dead. Shiu had teleported in, so he gets that big old shield for himself. Is now Clear, dealing with the hyper procs from this mini Gnar. Charging up towards Mega. Public Execution comes down, but that was right into the enemy team.
Don't think you wanted to ult in there.
No.
I think there was a more realistic scenario that you like path down towards the right, you ult
Was, Bruder?
for NECC that comes in, maybe if you get
Hallo, wir müssen uns sofort zusammenreißen.
with an Ash arrow
Es reicht.
into the Ash. We'll go back to the Lulu point.
Yeah.
Really easy.
Okay, auf wie viel RP endlich heute? Wir haben jetzt gerade 30 und wir haben 2 Stunden Solo-Queue. Das sind 4 potenzielle Games.
But maybe polymorph as well.
Yeah, that's a good
Demoted.
one.
Nein. Demoten und ich fasse das Spiel nie wieder an.
And that one can't accidentally do something else if you target the wrong person.
100, ja, 100 sag ich auch.
Great from Showmaker.
Janik ist bei fast 500, mein Beileid.
Ezreal not really given any opportunity to dodge.
Mein Beileid.
To be used. And here, pathing into the enemy jungle was scared of Lucid a bit. I guess didn't have full vision on everyone. So
Ich sag 100 LP.
like we have spectators.
Warte, geht es?
Knew they were all in that rush.
Nee, geht gar nicht. 90 LP.
Knew that like
Ja, 3-1 müsste ich dafür gehen. 3-1, 90 LP.
you
Passt.
know maybe
Clear
benefit
knew
of the doubt.
very quickly.
He found out.
He
Certainly found out. If he wasn't aware beforehand, but not an ideal situation.
That is sole point though, as a result of everything that sort of happened in that last passage of play.
And there's a decent amount of poke from the bot lane of BNK Fearex, so having to sustain against that, never bad. Again, Ocean Soul definitely one of the weakest, but
I mean, there's a
still-
Spirit Visage on Lucid. He can use his health bar to tank a lot of poke.
there's still some value. In the course of the fight, if it heals like, 500 to 1,000 HP across your team, that's still solid. Unfortunately, I do think champions like Akali and Ambessa don't really give Smash much window to heal up.
No, he should probably just die
Ist
immediately.
Luki meinte, du kannst gar nicht ducken, tatsächlich.
You are dealing with this Lulu situation.
Du wolltest mir deine E zeigen. Boah, ja, Mordekaiser gibt's noch.
To do very much difficult math.
Ja, ja, passt schon.
So far this game, but also press ult on Smash when Clear press ult on Smash is that's an easy equation.
Yeah, I do think that BNK Fearex need to make Korea's decision making difficult. There should be multiple targets diving in. If you're diving in as a solo champion,
well, Arrow is going to get flashed here by Clear, who once again presses his R button, but Lucid is just going to walk at him, and Showmaker dashes over the wall. Lucid still looking for
Kann nicht verlieren.
as the Wild Growth is trying to
Können nicht verlieren.
There's the ulti. True Shot Barrage actually
Right? So, unless. Nash ist auch ab, warte mal.
BK FearX actually the ones to come out on top in that little skirmish.
Kellen saving Claire there, just on super low HP, keeps him alive with the heal. And they're able to turn the fight around, finding Showmaker.
Ich wurde heute wieder zu Paddle eingeladen, um 17 Uhr. Ja, das geht doch nicht. Gegen Franzosen verlieren wir nicht, right? Ich spiele gegen Gallions, ne? Ihr Pathetic Fox. Wäre arschpeinlich, wenn ihr es schaffen würdet. Tatsächlich, es wäre arschpeinlich.
But Kellen ends up coming in and just saving him from that last auto.
And that was through Ignite as well.
And then that ult from Kellen also. Korea flashed out of it, but could have extended through and just been a problem for the whole team. So good flash from Korea.
Schon eine Navi-LOL gesehen mit Ingame-Lolix? Nee.
Very wrong for D+. And now
Zeige her.
Korea down summoners once again.
Yeah.
There's a clear goal for BNK FearX. Kill enemy bot lane.
Baderas. Und direkt in die Slums reingebracht. Ist das peinlich. Ist der peinlich.
Needed a few extra ergs to try and get there.
You think he's named after the band, or do you think he's...
Or maybe he's named after the StarCraft player.
20 Kilo und kaputte Niere. Es wird Zeit für... Du hast noch Login. Mitch, es wird Zeit für WPF für dich.
That's his name. Yeah. But perhaps not. It's all right. Arrow going to connect onto Vikla, and Showmaker looking to try and get some revenge. He does get into the pit, but the Spirit Rush is still going to be there. Now Shiu trying to get on through, but the rest of BNK trying to keep themselves in position.
Ja, die sind so fucked. Clear Ulti auch raus. Die haben nichts mehr für Showmaker. Kein Access mehr.
Very, very low, and Lucid is just so hard to kill. Wild Growth connects
Ja.
onto Shiu to try and keep
Schade.
him alive, but Clear is still being frustrating, but it's a double for the Ashe, and they're just chasing Slayer down. Great dodge comes on through, and that is going to be the triple for Smash.
Smash's movement in this fight was kind of insane.
Yeah.
I can be honest, he did not need to do all of that for them to win this fight, but damn did it look good, dodging all those Mystic shots up close to the Ezreal. This fight for D+, that arrow that comes in, catching the Akali, and removing a threat that I was concerned about for the bot lane. We see Shiu on this flank here, doesn't get the full slam of Kellen, but he's playing bouncer in this position and making it very awkward for BNK FearX to disengage. Showmaker
Will Def nicht mehr Proper spielen? Der ist im Militärdienst, oder nicht? Noch für ein Jahr? Fragezeichen.
Okay, he actually got hit by more Mystic shots. Oh, dodge that one. Dodge
And
that
that
one. Yeah.
And doesn't really care about getting hit by a W. So that's fine. They do get themselves the Ocean Soul and the Baron. And now D+ Kia are really off to the races. 7,000.
Ich glaube, er ist noch ein Jahr im Militär und dann könnte er wieder spielen.
Those very big buffs is going to make life very, very hard. Also, Smash went back, completed a Mortal Reminder, and bought BF Sword Pickaxe. I'm pretty sure that's a lot of money that he had.
That's a lot of damage picked up now. Especially in comparison to Slayer's 2 and a bit items. Smash is closing in on 4.
Nächstes Jahr kann er wieder spielen noch, ja.
Isn't like a bit. That's like a lot.
Yeah, that's most.
Darf man uns machen, wenn man Worlds gewinnt? Nee, du musst eine Goldmedaille bei Asia Games machen. Nicht Worlds gewinnen. Worlds gewinnen zählt nicht.
He just needs to find someone to buy a handle for him. As Vikla comes on over to usher Shiu away from his inner turret. I think he might actually do so. Gets the mini-Gnar back as he will hop away. Kellen looking for an angle, but his inner turret will just be taken for free. And Showmaker is babysitting a cannon here in this bottom lane as well.
How do you think it works with... Oh, Kellen in trouble.
Yeah, gets the encore, but the hop does come out, dodges the beat drop as well, and that should be the end of Kellen. Does get a heal out, but the
Goldmedaille bei Asia Games oder Goldmedaille Olympia?
Also having to deal with that one. In the meantime, I mean, the inner turrets are falling down, kind of everything is falling apart. Mega-Gnar comes on through the wall up the crush, and then a slap to the face to take the solo kill against Vikla. And that should be the death nail. DK gonna break open the base. And Showmaker makes his way in from the bottom side of the map as he had a full minion wave
GG.
with that inhibitor turret as well. And in the blink of an eye, in a bit of a whimper actually, B&K just kind of go down.
Yeah, struggling to defend now. TP coming in from Shu means they're committing to the end here on the back of their Baron.
24 seconds on Vikla. That might be the time that they can go for a heroic defense as the arrow is going to connect onto Slayer. They don't want to give them that opportunity as Shu just hopping on in, and Showmaker's going to help finish that kill off. The Nexus turrets are on the floor, and it's a glorious charm. It's another bundle of kills over to Smash, and the Nexus turrets
Haben sich aber besser geschlagen. Also Game 2 war dann dort nochmal deutlich eindeutiger, aber Game 1 war solid. Honestly. Game 1 bin ich zufrieden.
I don't think it's too surprising, the result overall. BK FairX trying some new things, bringing in some
GG.
players.
and Kellen as well. You saw the